You're glad I did.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our final day here at the 2017 Ledgestone Insurance Open presented by Discraft. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, along with Steve Dodge, our Disc Golf Pro Tour Director. And Steve, we've had a very exciting morning already with the women. We're not going to spoil the outcome for you just yet, but we're here, and we're seeing Josh Anthon with a 9-stroke advantage, and it's not raining on us.
Two very good things. These guys liked it so much they wanted to stay on the lead card. So we're going to see these guys thrill us again. We know how they play this course. We know what they did yesterday. It's going to be tough to catch Josh, but I would say if anybody can do it, we've got guys right here on this card.
All right, well, very exciting again. Josh Anthon sitting at 26 under par. The Pauls, Paul McBeth and Paul Ulibarri sitting at 17 under par, and our current world champion, Ricky Wysocki, sitting at 16 under par. We're going to get right to the action right now on this very challenging hole. Just to get started, Ledgestone Insurance Open, final day.
More. Thanks. Too much back.
Oh, thank you, bud.
All right, we are
Ladies
getting
and gentlemen,
started.
first of all, I'd like to thank you all for coming out today to the Ledgestone Tournament. Now we have the cards you've all been waiting for. The lead card. First off, from Rio Linda, California, Josh Anthon.
And with little to no wind at all here on the opening hole, Josh Anthon finds himself inbounds.
Next off the tee, from Huntington Beach, California, 4-time world champion, the Ledgestone reigning champion and defending champion, Paul McBeth.
And McBeth may not have enough distance. We're going to see if that clears and stays in the, and it does not. First tee shot out of bounds, just like we saw yesterday.
Next up,
Twos in a row. See if he can
from
save the
Mesa,
par.
Arizona, Paul Ulibarri.
And Yuli's disc is turning over. He's going to find himself carrying toward the OB, but I'm guessing that's going to come up safe, and it's done just that.
From Fort Mills, South Carolina, 2-time world champion, Ricky Wysocki.
And Ricky Wysocki also easily carrying over the water, and he will be safe. We have a great battle going on in the women's division. We'll show you shot by shot. Let's get to it now over at Sunset Park.
So, do you want to
And Macbeth thinks that may be also going out of bounds. He's put plenty of power on it, and it's going to carry out and past. And he's still OB. He'll play from over there. Now we'll head to the women's coverage over at Sunset Hills. Paul Ulibarri should have a relatively easy approach up the hill, coming to within 20 feet of the basket.
And I think we learned yesterday it's not smart to run this basket from down here. One interesting thing, thinking about Paul McBeth, he might have been trying to make up a stroke early and attacking this so that he could attack the basket if he was straight on. Sort of like Josh Anton is right now.
Paul McBeth will certainly be falling off the pace with a double OB here to start the round. Yesterday we saw him go OB 3 consecutive holes, or 3 times in 4 holes. So had a little bit of a slow start. And Josh Anton just played steady and consistent throughout the round. There's an approach shot by Josh. Ricky up next. Plenty of and a little bit of suggestion here on the 1 and 4 interchange. Great to have so many spectators out here in person. And Paul has a little bit of obstruction even after going OB long over the sidewalk where it comes into play on hole 4. Paul's Nova approach puts him right near the pin. And please go out and like and share. Let everyone know you're watching live disc golf right here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. We'll be here for the concluding round of the 2017 Ledgestone Insurance Open presented by Discraft. Josh Anton with a very comfortable 9-stroke lead, and he will not relinquish any during this opening hole.
That's very different than the attack that Ricky Wysocki took at the Jonesboro Open when he was up by 9. He decided he should relinquish a stroke or 2, I think, on the first hole. As our players try to figure out who's going to go next and from where, you mentioned Paul McBeth went OB on 3 of the first 4 holes. He actually went OB on the first 2 and saved the par both times. Already a derivation.
And a gasp by the crowd as Josh Anton with a putt from inside 25 feet actually spits out and falls. And then the gallery is also watching after a tree hit on hole 4, came in near the gallery, got up and rolled down the sidewalk. Slight distraction, but Paul McBeth is in. So just like that, Josh Anton actually will relinquish the stroke. I had certainly counted that in too early for him. Ulibarri and Wysocki with a smile. We're moving on to hole 2.
McBeth. Yuli. Wysocki. Nice threes.
And Josh taking scores here Yuli and Waisaki with threes. And Yulibari opts for a forehand with driver. And we see Waisaki with a backhand roller. We saw him throw that a time gesture. And that has carried to the water and OB.
Shot.
And Macbeth with a backhand. Let's see how the women did earlier on hole 2.
Very pretty. Great job. Thanks. Oh no. Get back.
And after going OB on his initial tee shot, we see Yulibari hits a 3 on the left side of the fairway. Macbeth with a mid-range going up the right alley inside the circuit.
This course is not for the faint of heart. Starts out with 2 600-plus foot holes, both with water and rope OB. And the players are showing this is not an easy course, especially on final day.
Josh with a shortened run up was able to throw a hyzer down toward the pin inside the circle. And Steve, a very different that we say when the how being everywhere. This is a little bit more like what we saw just yesterday.
Yeah, I'm going to guess the weather.
Wysocki hoping to get up and down so that he can walk away with a par here. We've seen quite a few birdies on this hole that it's given up in the last couple days.
That's the truth. And Ricky has carded the birdie 2 out of the 3 times in this hole. We'll have another look at birdie here. Oh, except for the fact that he went OB. We'll have a look at a par save.
Again, Josh Anthon sitting at 26 under par. Yuli at 18 under. Wysocki at 17 and Macbeth at 15. Looks like Anthon and Macbeth may have a chance here to pick up a stroke or two. And Wysocki's putt is low. Anthon with a birdie. We're also hearing that James Cole is starting out very hot, just as he did yesterday. Macbeth is a second effort. However, he is in for birdie. Yuli and Wysocki are in. We've got a lengthy walk to hole 3. Stay tuned right here at the Ledgestone Insurance Open, presented by Discraft. We don't. We're good. And as we've seen the last few days, Josh Anthon going right up the middle, 260-foot par 3, hole number 3.
Josh has birdied it all 3 days so far.
And Macbeth going up the middle as well, but releasing low. Yesterday, I believe we saw Josh hit a putt from about 58 feet, and I think Macbeth had about half that distance. They both birdied. And Yuli goes a little wider right. We're going to see now if Ricky Wysocki changes up his game plan, and he's doing just that. The last 2 days, we've seen him go OB with a forehand. Today, backhand. And this time he almost remains treeless. Let's see how the women did on their third hole at Sunset Hills. Macbeth with a good angle, however, left of what looks to be just about circle's edge. In fact, he's about 1 meter behind that, looking, and he's no chains required here by the Discraft Chain Star and Yuli's effort from 15 meters. And Ricky just a bit high left, does not bring it in. Josh Anthon at 35 feet. And almost an identical putt end result there for Anthon's effort from 35. So Yuli will card the lone birdie here. Quite surprising on this 260-foot hole. Macbeth is in, and again, Yuli picking up a stroke on the group. We're going to move on to the blind downhill hole number 4. We'll be back in a few moments from the Ledgestone Insurance Open. And welcome back. We are here on hole number 4, the downhill, with both mandatory and OBs to contend with. 423 feet. Also the 4th most difficult hole out here on the course. We've only seen 2 threes out of, 12 attempts? 2 threes. So this is a very dynamic hole. We've seen a number of 2s and some 4s. Probably, oh, no one has taken a 5. Well, I'm not going to jinx that.
Not only that, but each player here has been mixing it up. Everybody has a 2 and a 4, and Josh, Anton, and Ricky Wysocki also have a 3. So they've been all over the board on this one.
Yuli hugs the left side. Good shot just off to the left. He's inside circle 2. Here comes Josh Anton throwing a mid-range.
Straight up the gut, probably a little low.
Carried left toward the rough.
Do you think he missed through that, or did he change his tack?
I think he wished he'd thrown that a little bit harder. We know he's got more than enough power. And Macbeth also left. And early, Ricky had a drop in from 3 feet here yesterday.
That looks like a beautiful shot, curving to the right as long as it stays in bounds. And it curves OB, and Rick will have a long putt to save par. Let's see how the women did on hole 4 over at Sunset Hills.
And Paul releases a very light forehand, catches the left side, but then kicks to within 20 feet of the pin. Mike Kropika is giving a spot. However, Ricky somewhat seems to disagree with it. He'll take his drop and lays up to where his drive really landed yesterday. I'd like to thank the entire Ledgestone Insurance Open staff that have been out here working this week with more than 900 competitors. Also many courses in play. I believe there was a dozen or so courses in play for the week. Anton really has no choice but to lay up from the position he's in. Walking away with the 3 here. Doesn't look like it will hurt anyone today. Yuli may have a look here. We'll see how obstructed he is. Not only is the basket perched on a mound, but there is OB sidewalk approximately 22 feet past the pin. And Yuli gives it a run just a few inches short. Macbeth is going to make sure the chains are hanging correctly. Again, you have a chance to win these baskets. We'll talk about that later in the broadcast. That will give Anthon, Macbeth, and Ulibarri all threes. Ricky will tap in for his 4 with the penalty. And we're going to be moving on to the hole we saw yesterday, where Paul Macbeth wedged it into the side of the basket. We're moving on to hole 5, the Ledgestone Insurance Open.
Tempercraft USA. Double-walled stainless steel 18/8 construction keeps it cold while you're hot, keeps it hot while you're cold. Get your customized growlers, tumblers, and sport bottles. Lifetime warranty and 1% back to the planet. Tempercraft USA. Temper your thirst.
Hey everyone, it's AJ Risley. I've been on the road for about 5 or 6 weeks now. I'm going to be on the road for another 5 or 6 months for the rest of the year, and I've got another pro tip for you. When you're playing as much golf as I do and as the rest of the touring pros do, you are on your feet for pretty much 5 or 6 days out of the week, so that means that your feet are going to be pretty tired. So what I like to do is I always have a nice pair of flip-flops in the trunk and usually an extra pair of socks to change into right when I get off the course, because I know my dogs are definitely barking. So I want to get into some nice comfy flip-flops, get my feet out of that foot jail, and relax. There you go. Back it up.
Welcome back here to hole number 5. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, along with Steve Dodge. And we have our first sighting here of the second card, frequently known as the chase card.
So far, Nate Doss and James Cole are doing well in this card. They're both 2 down on the day. A putt. Do you know who that was, Terry?
Well, we are on the other side of the baseball diamond.
Might be Cam Colglazier?
Nope, that was info.
Very similar build.
Yes.
Cam Colglazier, if that was in fact a birdie putt, that was not. He double bogeyed this hole. Moves him down to 8th. Oh, but you said that wasn't Cam Colglazier.
That's correct.
I think that's mistakes number 2 and 3 for me. Just racking them up early today. Looks almost like the green is clear. Do you think the guys might be throwing soon, Terry?
I think they will be. I'll give you a time to stand down from talking. And I give Paul Ulibarri, who is on the tee, again, some fireworks here this week. Greg Barsby acing this hole in the opening round. And Paul Macbeth sticking into the side of the basket yesterday. And I'm going to say this looks like somewhat of a layup here by Paul Ulibarri. And I can appreciate that shot. This is a very dangerous green and a very difficult hole that's very easy to give up strokes on. Josh Anthon not laying up, though.
Paul's got 14 holes to gain 9 strokes on Josh. I think playing safe is kind of a smart play right here. A beautiful throw by Josh. He's got about 70 feet to the pin for birdie, just like yesterday.
And then Paul looks to have the same orange Star Destroyer I think we saw him throwing yesterday. Again, 476 feet. And I'm going to say that looks short. Seems as if it is not going to clear and right out of his hand. It just didn't look like he put enough on net. And Paul McBeth will find himself OB. That leaves Ricky Wysocki fourth to tee. I've got to say, I'm not sure Ulibarri is necessarily thinking he's going to get all the way to hunting down Josh and catching him, but he'd love to secure himself a second place finish. Great shot by Wysocki. Stay tuned. We're going to move right to the drop zone. So we're going to watch the crowd in the gallery all move right to the drop zone. After we see Paul McBeth throw from the drop zone, that's when we'll head over to the women's footage. The women are having a great battle, and I watched along on UDisc Live. I did not see any of the footage myself, so I'm very excited to hear and see how this plays out for us on the women's side. Seemed as if it was a two-woman race throughout most of this weekend. Valerie and Jessica Weiss seemed to really pull ahead and maintain for the most part. Here's Paul McBeth. And Paul throwing a big hyzer out toward the basket. Great looking shot. And now let's check in with the women on their fifth hole at Sunset Hills. And Paul Ulibarri just past the basket for his approach shot.
Yeah.
76-foot hole.
We're seeing a nice quick pace of play, which is good. That'll keep us right on the second card so we can see what they do. And I think what we're seeing is Josh Anton sort of putting his stamp on this, saying, I'm not going to give any ground. If you guys want to catch me, you're going to have to make 9 very amazing shots.
And Josh has 75 feet to the pin. Had it not been elevated, that might have hit side basket.
I feel like Josh did the exact same thing yesterday. Like he was going for the basket on the sticker there.
And there is a lot of movement going on to the left here of Ricky. He's going to reset. And Ricky lofts it up and over the basket, almost as if there was a wind lift, but instead he was just putting to the elevated pin. And McBeth will manage a bogey here, bogey 4 that is. Ricky will be putting directly back at where Steve and I are standing. Looks like he has at least 22 feet. And Wysocki somewhat beside himself. Very uncharacteristic miss there from inside the circle.
He had a similar miss on all 3.
And Yuli playing the safe shot off the tee, pitches behind the basket, and will walk away with a very easy 3. Josh Anton also will walk in with a very easy 3. We'll move it on to the long par 4, hole number 6, right here at the Ledgestone Insurance Open.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job.
For me, it's fun.
Welcome back. We are here on hole number 6, the par 4 897-foot hole with OB both left and right. Nate Doss has released a shot that's heading into the gallery. Everyone's going to need to move. Unfortunately, that is not going to come back inbounds. Seems as if he just possibly held on to it too long. He knew right out of his hands that it was not going to be enough to get back in bounds. Cam Colglazer's looking for that to also steady up. I think it's going to get back in bounds. It's fighting, and it does. He gets a green flag. Gallery needs to keep their heads on a swivel here as these shots are coming in. KJ Nybo will be next to throw. And KJ also goes out over the OB, and that's carrying in center of the fairway, just a little left center, I should say. And we're going to move up just a few feet. Nate Doss has gone out of bounds, so he'll move up approximately 100 feet from where he previously was. That's the last place that he found himself in bounds. Not sure if Nate has quite the distance to attack the pin here, but he's had a great opening here during this round. We'll see if he can get up and down. And it looks like he's just playing it out to the fairway. He's not necessarily trying to get to the pin. And he'll have likely 2 strokes to complete this hole. We're going to follow this group a little bit further. That will also then get us in position to turn around and see our lead card as they'll be teeing off. This hole has had a few different looks and a few different rules throughout the years. Also has been normally considered a par 5, measuring in at just short of 900 feet this year. It is a par 4 with a few less obstacles. There was also a field goal pulse that was out here a number of years ago. Players had to contend with. And our second card is moving down, and it looks like we're back and we're ready. Paul Ulibarri was already ready on the tee, and he has thrown a great shot center fairway. Steve Dodge also joins me. Went out and got a little 3K run in.
It's good to be loose. Josh Anton throws just as we would expect. Very good shot. It's a little tighter to the right than I would have expected, but he's going to have a really good look at the green. Should have an easy 4 from there.
I feel like the
Paul
closer
Macbeth
you...
is being very aggressive on this drive. Comes out over the OB. I think he's going to be running this for the 3.
And I will say, I feel like the closer you are to the right side OB line, the better position you're in to be aggressive on a second shot if you're trying to do that. And Wysocki answers with an almost identical shot to Macbeth's. We're going to be back with you in a few moments. We'll see how the women did on hole 6 at Sunset Hills Disc Golf Course.
Down.
Welcome back to the green of hole number 6. A few moments ago we watched Nate Doss throw OB on his second shot. He then approached to within 100 of the pin. And he's then putting from there. James Cole looks to be wrapping up hole 6 with a par. And KJ Nybo had tickled the chains on his long putt just a few moments ago while we were watching the lead card throw their drives. Cameron Colglazer taps in, and I think we're going to turn around and see more action coming in from our lead card here on hole 6. And Ricky Wysocki's throwing this out over the gallery. That's coming back inbounds nicely. The long grass should make it stick. It's done just that. Both Josh Anthon and Paul Ulibarri have already thrown their approach shots. Paul McBeth here is definitely going for the green. Paul seems to be in a somewhat hurried mode, which usually tells me he hasn't quite relinquished the idea of winning, but when he hurries and throws quickly, that means he's playing aggressive, and it's all or nothing at this point. That's really what I'm trying to spit out. He's in all or nothing mode at the moment.
Yeah, Ulibarri's got a few strokes on him. Anton's got 10 or so. He's throwing fast, and he wants he wants to make some big plays. One interesting thing about this right now, Anton, if he can hold on to win, is looking at a $6,500 payday. This is the richest tournament in disc golf history, as Nate Heinold likes to say again. Another $20,000 going to St. Jude. Make sure to go to the Ledgestone Open Facebook page to get your raffle ticket. But second place, which is where Paul Ulibarri sits right now, is $4,500. And here's Paul Ulibarri's third shot. And that is a beautiful shot that does sit, and he'll have about 25 feet to the pin.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that would be Paul Ulibarri's largest cash winnings at one given event if he were to hold on to that second place spot and bring in the $4,500 paycheck. So although first is looking less and less obtainable with every passing moment, holding on to second for $4,500 is not such a bad day either. And Josh doing Josh Anthon things out here as we've seen all weekend. Third place looks to be taking home $3,500. Fourth place, $3,000. Fifth place, $2,500. Sixth at $2,200. And seventh at $2,000. So top 7 competitors here looking at taking home $2,000 or more for their efforts.
So while they may not think that the first place is attainable, there's still some good money on the line, and basically 1 or 2 strokes could cost $500 to $1,000.
From 16 meters. Wysocki eagles. And Paul McBeth is looking at 34 feet. Also looking to eagle here. And I stand corrected. I apologize. I'm used to this being considered a par 5. That was a birdie by Wysocki. And the rest of the card are now looking at pars. Par 4s, that is. And Ulibarri has a certain focus to him today that I really like seeing. He is dialed in. Josh Anthon is in for the 4. We're going to move on to one of the shortest and one of the statistically easiest holes found on the course, hole number 7. We'll be back with you in a few moments after a very short walk at the Ledgestone Insurance Open. Ricky Wysocki on the tee here on hole 7. Rick opts for the standstill forehand tee shot. Hits a tree near the pin, kicks left. He's inside the circle. And Josh with a relatively beat up putter goes right up the middle with a backhand. Macbeth also lining up a backhand.
Ulibarri and Macbeth are the only two players that have had trouble on this hole so far, both guarding threes twice.
And Macbeth opting for a mid-range going deep of the pin. Let's see how the women did on hole 7 at Sunset Hills.
Go, Jeff. Good up.
Does he take this up top or a meter from the water? That's our question.
All right, welcome back. We are here looking at Paul Ulibarri's lie. He has in fact gone OB. There's no question as to that. The question really is, where will he take his stance from? Whether it'll be up near the upper area where we're all standing, or if he has to go down closer to the water. It looks as if there is room, and we may find himself throwing from closer to the water's edge. Again, giving a clarification, we see Mike Kropika. And Josh, what's going on over there?
He went OB and questioning the stance. But it looks like he's going to be able to pull it off.
He'll have some room down there by the water?
Yeah, a little bit. On a rough angle, though.
What did you throw on that last shot, that tee shot?
Casey AVR.
All right. Again, Paul Ulibarri is going to have a difficult angle. He's got to be careful. He's going to be throwing uphill to his right as it carries over. He wants to make sure that it doesn't come in and roll. He also has a number of trees. It looks like about 3, maybe 4 trees between him and the basket. And that's up high and just barely misses a tree that he couldn't even see from that right side. Great recovery shot by Paul Ulibarri. I don't even think he knows how good that was.
I think that's going to be one of the best up and downs we see today. He was down. We could barely see his head, just his head. He was throwing a high forehand, high release, coming out and missed that tree by less than a foot. Some days it works.
And after hitting dead center pole, somehow that comes back at Ricky Wysocki. He seems to be... Wow, he does not show any emotion after that. Maybe stunned, I think is the word. Ricky very composed and poised after that. That was nasty.
He did a great job of bouncing back after a couple of really tough putts on hole 5. He hit a long putt on 6. Kind of felt he was maybe getting his mojo back, and it just got taken away.
Moving on to hole number 8, a very long peninsula shot. Stay tuned at the Ledgestone Insurance Open, presented by Discraft.
Sun King Discs, established in 2001. Florida's most respected name in disc sports. Official retail merchandiser of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Currently on tour supporting Discraft and DGA live inventory, free shipping at $12. All orders $19.99, ships in a box, includes single discs, large selection of both stocked and collectibles. Check out the website at www.sunkingdiscs.com.
For looks, for life, for liquor.
And welcome back, everyone. We are here. The second card is just about, they're just about ready to throw their approach shots on this very challenging hole number 8, which plays to a peninsula green. They are standing down for just a few more moments here as the third card are, looks like they're just throwing their final putts on that green I just mentioned a few moments ago, and we're seeing some score shifting. Seems like James Snappy Cole is really dialing this course in. If this was 3 or 4 more rounds, he'd maybe be able to catch Josh.
I'm interested in going and seeing what he did the first 2 rounds. I have not looked into that yet, but these last 2 days, he has got this front 9 dialed in. He's currently sitting in 3rd place, 1 stroke behind Paul Ulibarri. Seemingly would love to get a little piece of that $4,500 second place money. So James coming from the 2nd card. Yesterday he was coming from the 3rd card, and who knows, at the end of this he might be sitting somewhere nicely into the top 4. So it looks like the 3rd card is clearing off the green here on hole 8. This is one of the most challenging holes on the course. Averages half a stroke above par, 793 foot par 4. And as we said yesterday, this is the hole you want to play safe. If you're Josh Anton, I expect we're going to see him pump it right through that gap and then do a nice little hyzer to that opening again. And it's just a matter of executing those 2 shots. If he can do that, he won't be losing any more than 1 stroke here, and he might be gaining a stroke if the other guys are aggressive.
Again, 3rd card just moving off, and it looks like we will be in position and ready. We'll be giving you approach shots here from our chase card. Nate Doss checking the wind. Very little wind here today, certainly worth talking about. Yesterday I was all about ready to call this round off as the forecast was very unfavorable throughout the week, and somehow we've managed to stay away from any significant rain or thunderstorms. Nate Doss probably throwing his green Z Wasp. Looks to be left side but safe. Cameron Colglazer lining up his shot. Steve, you mentioned a moment ago, this hole is one where if you just take the par, you're going to be doing just fine. The par 4 that it is. Colglazer with a very straight and narrow shot, which is drifting to the right. If you get up near the stump found on this hole, you'll be in pretty good position to get up and down from there.
You are 100% right there, Terry. Almost 40% of the people that play this hole end up going above par. So, and only 5% actually manage the birdie. The smart play, get your par and move on.
I'm not sure anyone plays smarter than KJ Nybo. He is a student of the game. If you're familiar with some of his routine, he usually gets to a course very early or a tournament very early, and some days he will go out and just practice the course in sections, as in he will go out and just play holes 1 through 6 for the entire day versus playing the entire course over and over again, and then choose off his practice in sections such as that. He really goes out and makes sure he's prepared and is very diligent with his practice routines.
It is a good way to do it in an attempt to try to jinx us. Looking at the weather real quick, it looks like the rain's going to hold off until 9 p.m. tonight.
And Josh Anton is ready on the tee as our 2nd card has thrown their approaches. And a little turn on that. And you said it. You thought he would pure the shot. He's done just that. Josh Anton sitting with his 28 under par in great position here on hole number 8.
Those of us who don't have as much power as, say, the top guys in the tour love seeing the way he throws that disc with a little bit of flex.
And Macbeth's is carrying wide right after getting through the gap. Plenty of power. However, that's going to be a difficult angle if he's going to try and attack the green from there. Next to throw is Ricky Wysocki.
Wow.
And Wysocki's also carrying right after getting through the gap.
Makes me wonder if there's a little bit more of a wind on the other side of the woods there.
And after the penalty stroke on the previous hole, Ulibarri 4th to throw. Let's see how the women did on hole 8 at Sunset Hills. And welcome back. We've caught up with the chase card standing next to Paul Ulibarri. He thinks there should be OB to the right where he saw Ricky and Paul Macbeth. Or maybe he was just thinking OB for the top 2 players in the world. There should be OB for them over there. Either way, we're seeing KJ Nybo possibly lining up for what could be a 3 here shortly. Josh Anthon will be first to throw when our lead card resumes. Very impressive birdie by KJ Nybo. He does, in fact, card the 3. As we feel a light headwind come at us, there's been very little wind out here today. And for the first time, we're feeling a little bit of a light headwind. Also joining us for some insights from around the course and from a little bit earlier on the course. I think we're going to be catching up with Dana Vici, Dynamite. Your tournament is complete. Your scorecards have been turned in. How are we sitting? Are you watching that cash line?
Can I plead the 5th? Is that a thing right here? I'm definitely not watching the cash line. I'm looking at on the outside. It was a rough go.
It was a rough go. Well, there is some great action taking place here. Everyone is also watching the women and how that's unfolding over at Sunset Hills earlier this morning. We're not spoiling it for anyone. I do know of the outcome, and I'm just going to say it certainly is a great battle that's unfolding. So let's talk a little bit about the conditions. You've played now 4 complete rounds out here, and what do you think from day to day?
We've had a lot of different days out here. Day 1, hot and humid. Day 2, we had the high winds. Yesterday was pretty favorable scoring. Today, the same thing, but the winds are a little bit swirly and picking up on and off, which definitely makes it hard to attack some of these greens. And on the putting green, it definitely proposes a little bit of more of a challenge. But overall, pretty good scoring conditions because A, it's not raining.
Mm-hmm. And B, the humidity seems to be down at the moment. It's cloudy, a little bit overcast. Again, very comfortable out here. Josh Anthon's going to be throwing in a moment. We also just saw KJ Nybo card the 3 here on hole number 8. Did you manage any of those out here?
Definitely no. This is one where you've got to throw 2 really good shots to snip a 3, and KJ must have done that. I'm not quite sure. We'll see how aggressive Josh is going to get it here, but it looks like he's got a leopard in his hand.
And with pinpoint accuracy, that's just fading to the right. We'll see if he's going to have an up and down from there. He may have a little obstruction.
Yeah, he made the right move right there. The mistake is to miss right because it is going to be most likely safe. Turn the leopard over a little bit. I have no doubt that he'll be able to get up and down for the 4, but he's likely going to have an obstructed look at the 3.
Wysocki coming in very early with that forehand. May find himself in a similar position to Josh, maybe even short of where Josh's was. We noticed that both Wysocki and Macbeth finished right off of their tee shots. Paul's really in perfect position here. And Ulibarri with a misfire of sorts. Also right side. You said you'd rather be right than left because you're not losing a disc or going OB, but off to the right is also very, very difficult.
Yeah, it's a jungle over there, but it's dry, and you're likely going to be getting up and down for the par versus struggling for a par. And this is a beautiful forehand from Paul. The green does open up on the backside, which he did fly over the bucket. He's probably well inside the circle there.
We're glad you are tuned in and watching live disc golf right here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, now joined with our guest commentator in Dynamite, Dana Vici. And we are almost through 8 holes during our final round. Josh Anthon maintains his ginormous lead, and we see that just a few holes to play, and he may be taking home this $6,500 paycheck. Second place coming in at $4,500. James Cole's trying to get up into the into those higher cash spots. He's playing very well today. We saw Nate Doss struggled a few holes back, but Nate Doss also making a charge there from the second card. Dana's term a jungle off here to the right side, as you guys can see. And just beyond the basket, as we already know on this peninsula green, it looks like Wysocki's has in fact rolled out of bounds into the water. You have a relatively easy putt from there. However, another stroke given away, further distancing him from our leader, Josh Anthon. I've talked about that the last 2 days out here, Dana, that this is a very tight, very small peninsula green, and anytime you're off to the right side, as you said, there's room over there, but you can't go deep, as Ricky just did.
Yeah, that was, not sure if he was trying to run that. He must have been, because that should have been an easy, just little flop putter, land flat, and he just pushed it a little deep, and it caught that hillside.
And Macbeth coming in with the 3. Solid birdie here on hole number 8. And even after a little roughage as that comes through, Paul Ulibarri is in.
Call that an and one. Looks like Anthon's a little bit closer, but Paul and Josh both made the pro move and turned it over and stayed safe, and it's so far it's paid off for Ulibarri, and it looks like Anthon's about to get himself a birdie as well.
And a very rare miss and mistake there by Josh Anthon. Not only did he not grab any medal, but he then carried into the water OB. I'd have to say that was probably the most egregious mistake we've seen by Josh Anthon here over the last 3 days of play. Wysocki retrieves his putter. Josh is going to go ahead and mark his lie. And he's fine that he's got a few to play with. Wysocki almost dips himself into the side of the water here as well. Paul's going to see if he can possibly help out with a retrieval, and Macbeth heading over to help out his pal Josh Anthon. They're going to see if we can get a full-blown recovery here, and he's done just that. Paul Ulibarri's mom and family are out watching, I'm sure. Hello, Pat and the crew. Thank you guys for watching. We're going to move over after a lengthy walk onto hole 9, the bridge hole at the Ledgestone Insurance Open, presented by Discraft.
1, go.
Welcome back to hole number 9, measuring in at 354 feet. Paul, Macbeth, we're going to move the TD out of the way so you guys can watch the play. And a beautiful shot here by Paul Macbeth, which is tracking toward the basket. Finds himself inbounds here on this very dangerous tee shot, hole number 9.
And that's got to get some legs, playing to the fat side. Good shot by Paul.
And Josh Anthons is lifted by the wind, however, that's carrying to the wide side of the green, and he gets the green flag. He's safe. And Ricky also is carrying left to see if that's got enough legs. It looks like we should get a green flag. We'll see how the women did on hole 9 at Sunset Hills.
Something worked. And from 15 meters, Wysocki converts for the birdie. Paul Ulibarri is just a few steps inside that. Again, Yuli's had a certain focus about him today, very effective, and a great birdie by Yuli. Josh Anthon from almost the exact same distance, just a few feet inside. And another rare miss there by Josh Anthon.
And nice shot from Paul right there. We're going to have 3 birdies and a par. Not too bad of a score. My group the first day actually star frame 2'd it. Probably one of the very few groups to do that aside from maybe some of these top cards over the weekend.
Very impressive there, Dynamite. The gallery is moving on and Josh is tapping in. We're moving to the back half. Just 9 to play at the Ledgestone Insurance Open, presented by Discraft. And welcome back to hole number 10 here during our final round at the Ledgestone Insurance Open. A moment ago we saw Nate Doss complete this hole. Looks like James Snappy Cole has tapped in, Cameron Colglazer, KJ Nybo. Dana, if you added all 4 of the drives yesterday in terms of how far away they were from the basket, I'm not sure it would have equaled 33 feet by our 4 competitors. 3 park jobs and 1 just outside the park job. It was very impressive.
No big surprise here. This is definitely in the wheelhouse for all these players. It says 500 on the tee box. It's probably playing closer to 450, maybe even a little bit less. It is downhill, but this is just a wheelhouse smash for these guys. No sweat.
I even challenged Nate Heinold after we watched 4 park jobs or 4 very close drives. I challenged him and said, "Is it really 500?" And he says, "We use lasers." And Macbeth very easily putting it inside the circle. And Ulibarri's, with a little bit of turn to it, seems to be stabling up between the circle 1 and circle 2.
That looks like a little Ulibarri step putt coming up quick.
And Wysocki riding the wind, or I should say almost even fighting it. Doesn't get a forward skip, but he'll have an easy birdie putt from there. And the famous now stutter step by Josh Anthon looks to be heading right toward the pin, a little short. Let's see how the women competed on hole 9 earlier today. Chad will get it.
And we've got Paul Ulibarri lining up a putt here, just outside the circle. Look for another little stepper. If it's anything like the last putt, it's going to be dead center. And coming up just short off the rim. He's going to be looking at a tap in for 3 there. Looks like Anton is up next, just outside the circle, similar distance to the previous hole. Let's see if he can make the adjustment and put it in. And he sneaks it in on the right side. It's good enough for the 2. Ricky from just inside the circle. And not enough postage, return to sender. That hit dead center pole, came right back at Ricky. Paul checks the chains to make sure they're not tangled before lining up this 15-footer.
And certainly a little frustration there by Ricky Wysocki. He was spit on hole number 7. One that definitely could have stayed in for him, and unfortunately, just not the best of luck. Ricky slams it in. He's understandably frustrated. We're going to move on. We got a long walk to hole 11. We'll be back at the Ledgestone Insurance Open.
Always thrown Innova and competed with Innova. I don't think I'd be playing this sport if it wasn't for creating the disc itself and then just taking it to the next level over and over and over again. How great the discs are themselves. It's really gained my trust, and I don't think I would be here without Innova. I don't see myself doing anything else.
welcome back to hole number 11. Josh Anthon quickly getting up and throwing his forehand. Yesterday we saw Anthon underneath the basket for his birdie. Ulibarri will throw a forehand, as will Wysocki. Uli looking at 25 feet. And Wysocki just short for birdie looks. Let's see how the women did on hole 11. Unbelievable. Ricky Wysocki just not getting any breaks here today. That was a near dead center spit by Wysocki. At this point, he has a valid argument here. That is very frustrating. And Uli from 27 feet.
Let me pick my jaw up off the ground. I was about to commend Ricky on just stepping up and jamming the putt like he should, but that's what he did. And Macbeth taps in. That's unfortunate. Hopefully it's the last we see on this card, and hopefully the last for Ricky.
Moving on to the water tower hole, hole 12.
And welcome back to hole number 12, known as the water tower hole. You're seeing KJ Nybo go over his birdie putt. KJ, of course, from the second card. And there is a lot of gallery up in this area, so getting everyone to settle in and grab their position without making any kind of movements is always very difficult. These players need the utmost, we'll say, concentration, but they need everyone to stand still if you are directly in line with them. They're good with people being in their sight, but you must stand still. I've also heard from Dynamite Danavici that there are still a few raffle tickets available. If you would like to support St. Jude, you can do so. Find Ledgestone Insurance Group. If you can find them on Facebook or the Ledgestone Insurance Open, you can go out and get yourself a ticket, or just simply PayPal Nate at ledgestonegrp.com, and you can become eligible to win one of the baskets that you see our competitors playing on here this week. There's Free Keen Shoes, who are great supporters, and also Huck Lab, along with hundreds of other prizes and things to win. I won myself a Ledgestone Insurance Open basket just last year, actually. So go out and participate. Of course, all money going directly to St. Jude. Nate Heinold looking to write a $20,000 check again to St. Jude at the end of this weekend. Paul Macbeth on the tee. He's got an orange Star Destroyer in his hands.
Wide, but it's got the height to come back left, and he's inside the circle, about 15-20.
Great shot, and without hesitation, Josh Anthon lining up his shot. And that is carrying very nicely. We're going to find that very similar to Macbeth's shot. Paul Ulibarri now third to tee. I'd like to say hi to Keith Murray, Spinners on the Green, and everyone over at Duke's. We know you guys are logged in and watching Smashbox and the Disc Golf Pro Tour. And that hits the water tower, but does come to a rest inbounds. So again, thanks for the support from Arizona over at Duke's Bar and Grill and Spinners on the Green. Here's Wysocki's shot.
And that's got the height coming back. See it under the pin, so he doesn't have to worry about putting here. And 4 green flags. Great shots by the lead card here.
Let's see how the women did on hole 12. Dead center chains. Again, Paul Ulibarri on point here today. And Ricky stares that one down. A little bit of disgust there. And even with movement in the background, Josh Anthon cleans up. Expect the same from Macbeth. and he's done just that. We have a very lengthy walk to hole 13. Let's see how Simon Lazat and Eagle McMahon challenged the water tower a few years ago. I'm the Disc Golf Guy, and this is my video blog. What else would you do when you're done with the tournament? You get the 2 longest throwers in the disc golf game, and you have them do the H2 throw. Eagle, you and Simon were going back and forth. You were the one to finally hit the water tower first. Tell us about it.
Well, I just went over to the Lost and Found over there, found the lightest disc I could find. It happened to be a 167 Star Ray. I run on over here, take it, and throw it straight in the sky. Hits the water tower, and everyone goes crazy. Then Simon couldn't let me beat him, so then he has to go and hit higher than I do.
I think they're going to see here on the video or in slow-mo that yours actually did hit a little bit higher on there. You said you had to throw it as hard as you possibly could, and you throw like 700 feet or 900 feet.
Yeah, getting it, because we never practiced throwing that angle, so that makes it a little unusual for the body, but yeah, it was definitely all I got to that little tower.
The H2 throw, water tower trick. This is Eagle and Simon, 2 of the furthest throwers in the game. We'll be back with you when they throw other tricks. I don't know how I'm going to end that. Okay, loving it. There you go, loving it. And welcome back. We are here on hole number 18, watching a group complete their round. Just saw Paul Ullman a moment ago. This is James Proctor. James Proctor throwing a roller here on hole 18. As you guys may have realized from previous rounds, hole 18 and 13's tee areas are within a few feet of one another, going in opposite directions. Looks like Drew Gibson here, fourth to tee. And Drew also goes with a roller. A moment ago we heard a huge uproar on hole number 13. There may have been an eagle throw-in. That is currently unconfirmed, but we may have had an eagle throw-in on hole number 13. We're going to take a look, see if we can find more action for you. We've got a large gallery out here hanging out for hole number 13 and 18's interchange. As we pan over, we'll see if there's anyone that will be approaching hole 17. We may be able to give you some additional footage from there, but unfortunately no one on hole 17 at the moment either. So we're really in a lull of play for everywhere that we're standing. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in and taking in the final round here of the Disc Golf Pro Tour, the Ledgestone Insurance Open, presented by Discraft. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. Also been joined by Dana Vici, along with Steve Dodge a little earlier today as we opened the tournament round, our fourth and final round. And we hope that you also enjoy the coverage of the women's battle that's been taking place at Sunset Hills Disc Golf Course. You're in for a great finish as we'll be moving into the last third of that course. Valerie Jenkins, along with Ragna Bigdy and Jessica Weiss, seem to be pulling out in front of the rest of the women's division there. Very unusual to see Paige Pierce or Katrina Allen not necessarily in contention. And as we said, it is now confirmed, yes, that Greg Barsby had eagled hole number 13, throwing it in from somewhere around 350 feet. Greg Barsby with a great weekend here when it comes to long throw-ins. Of course, acing hole number 5 earlier in the weekend at 476 feet. And now today with a eagle here on the lone par 5. We're overlooking hole 13 at the moment. Looks like off in a distance I see KJ Nybo lining up what would be his second shot. Also, we see the crews out here, Jomez Production, on the chase card coverage here today, so look for all of the final round action on their channel tomorrow. Central Coast will have a post-produced round available on their card, or correction, on their channel also tomorrow. Prodigy Disc, Marty McGee covering the women's coverage, so if you want to see that round in its entirety, every single shot, you can do so on Prodigy Disc YouTube channel. Cameron Colglazer throwing his second shot. Snappy Cole will be lining up his. Looks like Dynamite will be joining me here again. Dana, a little bit of a interchange here as we're watching 13. We may see some action from 17 in a moment or two. And a few moments ago, Greg Barsby threw one in from more than 300 feet and carded the eagle 3. How's that sound to you?
Barsby is just on a heater right now. I know he's not on the lead card, he's not winning, but he's on a really great stretch of disc golf, starting with the European Open, then winning over in Finland or Estonia, and then with the ace this weekend and seemingly a solid showing going right now, it's fun to see.
He is. We're going to get into position. It looks like we're just about ready for our lead card to tee here on 13.
Oh, yeah.
Josh is ready. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Hi, everybody.
All right, this par 5 with a water carry on the first shot, typically on the second and even possibly the third shots. Paul Macbeth is going to ask a few of the spectators just to step aside. Over 1,000 feet here on hole 13. And Dana, what's really interesting about this initial tee shot is they're not throwing full power. They're throwing with power, but not full power.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You really just want to play about a 350-foot shot to the right, just where Paul landed. Josh is okay. This is the easiest par 5 on the course if you put yourself in position on the water off the tee. You could throw 3 righty hyzers in a row and be under the pin. But if you really rip on it and find yourself left and having to take that inside fairway, you're going to be throwing a lot of high difficulty shots where it.
Again, not full power. Watching Ricky Wysocki clears the water, hits the tree, and it checks up. He'll stop there. Let's see how the women did over on hole number 13 at Sunset Hills earlier today.
I feel for anybody that has bad days just because we all have them. So I always try to tell people let's just keep going, keep moving. It's just one shot. The same thing I would tell myself. Try to give them a little reinforcement even as a competitor, because the better your competitors play, you're going to try to play better than that also. So just try to positive vibe, push something out there and give them a little word of confidence.
I try to encourage them. It's tough. It's really tough because we've all been there where you kind of get into this cycle of despair. It's like disc golf, that happens in disc golf to all of us, and you know what it feels like, and it's tough to know the right thing to say to somebody.
It's just a situational thing. If it's one of my best friends, I'm going to try to help him out and be like, hey, come on, man, you got this. And if it's someone I don't know, I'm kind of just going to be like, well, you're kind of on your own. I don't know you. I'm not going to approach you like, hey, you got it. It's a hard thing to help someone with when you don't know them.
Can that affect your game when it happens?
Yeah. There's people who freak out all the time and are known for that. And it affects people in the group, but sometimes you just have to look past it and just worry about yourself and let them do what they're going to do, because they're going to do it no matter what.
Sure. Yeah. I actually, I'm a big advocate of kind of like a good mojo amongst the group and how that can positively influence everybody. So I always try and root for everybody on the card. I think if you're ever in a position where you're rooting for somebody or not rooting for somebody, and then they do good stuff, it can negatively impact you. And so it's always about trying to keep a positive energy on the card, and ultimately all moving up on I actually think that's a really important thing, and people you're playing with and everybody staying positive, getting along, rooting for each other, that kind of feeling that everybody has, I think leads to success.
And welcome back here to the par 5, hole number 13. And as Dana and I were walking over to the landing zone here, we saw that Cale Iviska had one, well, that maybe could have stuck on hole 16. He's going to walk away with a 4, what we believe is going to be a 4. Cale has birdied holes 10 through 15 on the back, so very impressive. I'm not certain if that was for birdie or par on the putt we just noticed a few moments ago, but Cale has, as of now, moved up 13 spots, as we call those the Nico arrows, and is sitting at 14 under par. Very, very impressive. 9 under with the hottest score in the tournament thus far for today's round. Josh is waiting for that to push over, get stable, and move to the left. And Ricky Wysocki finding grass on this second shot of his. And Paul McBeth looking to do the same.
Yeah, and these tee shot or these up shots they're throwing here, they're really only throwing about 250 to maybe 300 feet. It really isn't all that far to the next landing zone, and we do have a little bit of wind coming in. Paul needs that one to stay up. Looks like it does, but the wind coming in, players need to get their shots up high so they're not pushed down and into the water.
I think McBeth certainly had that a little wider than originally intended. That's going to be closer than he was hoping for.
Yeah, it's such a simple shot. I actually earlier took it for granted and just kind of really threw a soft shot. Paul threw it hard enough, got it up there to the landing zone, and we might have a star frame here. They're all looking at clean looks at the basket.
Again, looking at Josh Anthon still holding on to that 9-stroke advantage over his 2 card mates, Paul Ulibar and Paul McBeth. Ricky Wysocki has fallen off the pace a little bit. He's had a few unfortunate breaks. He sits at 16 under par. Josh Anthon all but ready to cash that $6,500 check. Again, if you'd like to be part of the St. Jude fundraising raffle, go out and find the Ledgestone Insurance Open on Facebook. All the information is out there for how you can participate. I believe the tickets are now dwindling in opportunities, so make sure you go out and participate. You do not have to be present to win. Prizes can be shipped. Yuli's is fading left of the pin. Looks to sit down. He'll have a birdie look from there. Wysocki next to throw.
The key here is getting it up high and wide and trusting that the disc is going to come back. And looks like Ricky got an unfortunate skip. You could hear him groan with the disc leaving his hand. Not too happy with that one.
Josh going with what I believe is a mid-range Champion Rock X3. Looks like his buddy Derek Billings has joined him. Derek coming off the course. Seems to be double bagging it. And Paul's hits the wire that hangs out over the water. I don't think that necessarily slowed it down anymore, but he's lucky that did not get a more awkward deflection in any shape.
Yeah, if Ricky would have hit that, it probably would have dropped down into the water with the luck he's been getting today. But Paul, he's inside of circle 2 and still looking at a birdie.
Ricky Wysocki has maintained the utmost professional composure today, although he has had a few unfortunate breaks. I have to commend him on how he's handled it after having what looked spit outs for him. Again, Dana, he's not having the best of luck here today. He's throwing good shots. 3, if not all 3 of those would typically stick and stay. And he gives aren't going his way.
Yeah, he's doing what you have to do is put it on the pole, and he's doing it every time. And unfortunately, he's catching those crazy little bad breaks. But he's got a long birdie look here, maybe as long as Paul. But let's hope the next one on the pole sticks for him.
And Wysocki from way outside circle. Ricky, you said it, Dana. In fact, I didn't even know where he was standing. He was so far away from me at the time. Looks like he's back on track with that one.
Oh, most definitely. He walked it all the way into. That was a long putt. Ricky range, no Raptor legs today. Walking it in. Good stuff.
And a good effort there by Macbeth. However, it does not stay in. Looks like Paul Ulibarri is just a hair outside circle 1, looking approximately 11 meters. And Yuli, who's been so on today, had an obstructed view of his putt there. Here's Anthon. And the light Anheuser putt converts. No surprise there for Josh Anthon. Both Macbeth and Ulibarri with just a few feet left to tap in. The wind seems to be picking up. It's blowing from right to left to right. And the chase cart has moved off hole 14. We're moving that way. Stay tuned at the Ledgestone Insurance Open presented by Discraft.
Peel back. And welcome back, everyone, to hole number 14. Again, we have caught up with our chase card on this very difficult par 4. Looks like we have Cameron Colglazer lining up his second shot. We don't see Cameron quite as often as we used to a few years ago, but whenever he shows up, he's always a contender, Dana.
Most definitely. He's a world-class player, and we're about to see a world-class shot. He's ripping it out over the water, which you have to do to get to this pin. The only trouble is we've got the wind coming off the lake. Looks like a safe shot for Cam. He may have a long look for birdie, but it's tough to get up there from where his tee shot was.
I also see that Valerie Jenkins has joined the card. She's walking along with her husband, Nate. Again, that battle continues to unfold over there at Sunset Hills. I think you guys are going to love how it goes down. Two of our top women competitors seem to be pulling away, both Val and Jessica Weiss. We saw Jessica at the last Pro Tour stop take down Katrina Allen in extra holes over in Utah in Ogden. And right now, Val and Jessica battling it out. Won't be too much longer before we will be back with our leader card. Dana, it looks like we're going to get through this weekend without any significant inclement weather. Of course, we had the wind on our second day, but a big disc golf event, and we're going to play all the rounds.
That's a beautiful thing, especially with what's happened at some of these large-scale events over the last year with USDGC, GBO, Nick Hyde. Weather shortened, and I was a little worried that first day that we were going to get hit and it was going to push things back and kind of screw the event up, but so far we're unscathed. It is cloudy. It's getting a little windy. I'm hoping the rain holds off until at least an hour or two after the last putt drops in.
Well, I know we're going to be moving out very quickly, getting our cameramen and crew all back home safely. Looks for an exciting final day here out at the Ledgestone Insurance Open. We're going to see you guys again in 2 weeks at the Idlewild Open in Kentucky, as we are in the second half of the 2017 Disc Golf Pro Tour calendar. Nate Doss throwing his second shot at the moment. Dana, as I was watching Nate's throw, there's plenty of golf out here on this last 1/3 of the course. Holes 13 through 18, I think, measure in somewhere around 14,000 feet.
Yeah, this is a long stretch. This par 4 right here is an absolutely beautiful one. It's a long par 4. You've got to throw 2 really well executed shots. You'll see where our catch cam is. You want to get, that's about where you want to land to have a really good look at getting up into circle 1, circle 2 for a birdie, but we have a fast green, the wind is picking up, so it's going to take 2, maybe 3 well executed shots to score yourself a birdie. And it looks like we've got one good shot. Long way to go though from there.
And Josh Anthon may struggle with footing there. It is clean, it looks to be safe. However, he may have a little challenge with his footing. Ricky Wysocki threw a number of rollers yesterday as he came out to the back half of the course. That's officially rolled out of bounds. It's rolling back towards inbounds. Goes around some spectators that weren't even expecting to see a disc that far. Dana says that shot is insane. Paul Macbeth lining up a conventional backhand.
Looks like he's going Thunderbird.
And like Anthon's very low, however, he'll be about 30 feet in front of Josh's. And it's not so much the distance, but it will be the footing that will be so much better for him there. And Paul Ulibarri also keeping it clean, heading toward the OB, but it's going to come in short of it. He'll be safe. The battle continues at Sunset Hills. Let's check in right now. Welcome back here to the landing zone that we find on hole number 14. A few moments ago, Dana, I referenced the run-up or the potential footwork and footing that Josh Anton might have. How do you assess it?
Yeah, unfortunately, Josh just missed landing in the casual relief zone. There were some large dead bushes here last week that were removed early this week, and he finds himself just parallel in between the two free drop zone areas. He's for the power needed for this shot, he's going to have to do some fancy footwork.
The chase cart is moving off of the green, and Josh appears ready to go. And a great release. That is fading left. Again, you'd rather be safe and off to that left-hand side than anywhere else. This shouldn't be a problem for Anton. Again, he could power out from here and he'd be just fine. And Ulibarri continues to be right on point. Great looking putt by Paul, or great looking drive, I should say, by Paul Ulibarri. Macbeth to throw third.
And Macbeth, trusting that his destroyer is going to come back left, hangs it out wide and pays off. Little bit of a bad roll for him, but he's well inside circle one and looking at a birdie. And we're still not to Rick's drive yet. This is definitely one of the best drives of the weekend on this hole, without a doubt.
In unbelievable fashion that has rolled out of bounds. Ricky Wysocki's day could not get any worse correction. It looks like it has hit the rocks, but nonetheless, Ricky Wysocki's luck could not possibly be any worse here today during this final round.
The only way it's going to get worse if he gets another spit out right here, but that was right next to the pin, just kind of stood up and worked its way down, caught a good break, not going out of bounds, but nonetheless, heart goes out for Rick right now.
And I believe there was a rules clarification that had to take place here yesterday. We'll have to see if we can get in there and assess exactly what's going on, and this will be approximately 15 meters. And he turns to the cameras, shows a little love.
Looks like he was pointing to Drew Gibson and D. Bill, Derek Billings.
I'm guessing there was some kind of a bet made as to whether or not he was going to make that. And looks like Paul and Ricky are further discussing what's going on here.
Yeah. What do you think?
Honestly.
What's this? Yeah. The thing is the water, because like the water comes all the way up here. This isn't the shit.
Right.
It's like here too. You can see the
Come
water
out.
right here.
You think you're up? Yeah. What do you think?
I'd say safe for me, but I don't know.
I mean,
It
what's
does the benefit of the player, but yeah, I don't know. Me personally, I'd say safe.
well? What the rule is like?
Is it the water or the rock?
Like if there's a rock patch right there and the water goes around the rock patch, it's clearly OD.
Yeah.
Right?
All those rocks are connected to the side, right?
Yeah, they're all. That's
Yeah,
my
it's
thing.
all part of the rocks are safe.
Yeah,
and
the rocks
are they
safe, they're
connected?
to the
So
land.
look at.
But I guess they are touching. I mean, this one's touching that one, and it's kind of like a piece of land.
See how there's water all like right here, clearly. But I see what you're saying, and maybe if this, if this
like
mud,
well, I mean that looks to me, it's you guys, but that looks like it's connected.
My opinion doesn't matter, but I would say benefit of the doubt in this case. But my opinion doesn't matter.
Not for me.
I think if you think it's out,
Well, no, I just made my call. It's up. If you think it's safe, say it's safe. Like I said, I just
by the definition of the rule, I would like if you take this right here where your lie is and you move it there, then you're clearly out. So what's the difference just because it's closer?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If we're calling off the waters, then yeah, it comes all the way around. But if we're calling off the rocks, then yeah, it's
If
safe.
the rocks are,
But it says rocks are safe, so I just looked at the rocks are safe.
oh, you're safe.
All right.
Then you're, yeah.
All right.
All right, a healthy discussion. Josh Yannon wanting my opinion, as he said. He values it because I've been playing since I was 2, as he says. I just feel like that was just far too close of a call. Feel in that situation, benefit of the doubt does go to the player. And there you have it. And that one sticks for Ricky Wysocki. Not sure if you can quite call that a break or not, considering he shouldn't have had the roll to begin with. We know Duke's Bar and Grill appreciates that. Good putt there by Ulibarri. Macbeth is some great putt on the 14, a little drama. We're moving on to hole 15 to close this out here at the Ledgestone Insurance Open, presented by Discraft. And Josh Anthon going with a turnover here as we're feeling a wind blow from right to left. Comes up what looks to be at the circle 2 flag, putting him up approximately 70 feet. And unlike Ricky's roller yesterday, we see him go with a forehand, which is also what we saw him throw 2 days ago. Paul Macbeth giving it a little bit more air than what we saw from Anthon. However, this seems to be stabling up, heading toward the OB, and that is in fact out of bounds. And Yuli's turnover shot glides but comes up short. Let's see how the women did on hole 15 at Sunset Hills. Josh Anthon gives it a running leap, however, short and right to the elevated basket. And Yuli's step hop just off the front of the rim. Are these guys getting tired yet, Dana?
No, they could play another round and still kick our butts, Terry.
Macbeth from approximately 45 feet.
And Paul short, Ricky right on circle's edge, looking to keep the momentum going.
And Ricky with the lone birdie here on hole number 15. This played as one of the easier holes throughout the weekend. However, not today for the lead card. Yuli will tap in. Josh Anthon will do the same. Just 3 holes left to play. I called it midway through the round yesterday. This is Josh Anthon's tournament. Just 3 to go at the Ledgestone Insurance Open, presented by Discraft.
Get it anywhere close, it stops on a dime, basically.
Looks like you got a little cut roll even.
Yeah.
DOS going back to that TI Buzz.
It's tough to have a good putt long.
Gotcha. DOS going TI Buzz.
Just the perfect height. See, missing left there is not bad because it gets stopped just like you see there. So
there you go. Yeah. The Joe.
And welcome back. We are here on hole number 16. Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, along with Dana Vici, who you can also hear the beautiful voice of on most Tuesday nights on our SmashBoxxTV podcast. Please tune in at 9 p.m. Central. We're looking at Josh Anthon's round of a 6 under par at the moment. Paul Ulibarri sitting in second at 5 under par, and with that last hole gaining a stroke on Paul McBeth. Paul McBeth sitting at 21 under par with Wysocki 2 back of them at 19 under. Looks like Ricky Wysocki is getting ready for a roller, just as we saw from him yesterday. Ricky has thrown that disc as his roller a number of times throughout the last few days. And immediately out of his hands I hear, "Oh boy." That might roll a little bit quicker next time after hitting a tree with that much force. Josh Anthon also going roller with one of the best huck faces in the game. And the gallery starts applauding it. And everyone at the tee with a large roar after a green flag was given by tournament director Nate Heinold. Third to throw should be Paul Ulibarri.
Paul going with his trusty Test 750 M2 and throws an absolutely beautiful turnover shot to the land zone. He's going to have a good look at birdie from there. Paul McBeth with a driver in his hand, maybe a Thunderbird. And he puts down a roller, and that is really aggressive with a good cut. As long as it doesn't end in the bushes, we're money.
Let's see how the women did on hole 16.
Yes.
And Wysocki finds the bush on the right side. Let's listen to a word from our sponsor. We'll be back in a moment. Ricky's going to use the bush on the right short again. Are they on the green still? Fortunately for Rocky, it looks like he's in the field at rig at the moment. Caught up. We'll move down the fairway. Just 2.5 holes to play. Paul Ulibarri will be next to throw, just a few feet in front of And Dana, we mentioned it earlier, $6,500 for first place. That's locked up. That's going to Josh Anthon, but $4,500 for second place. Yuli's just looking to hold on for dear life here.
Yeah, battle of the Pauls right now. We're still not to Paul McBeth's tee shot. I'm going to guess that it rolled into the bushes, but likely not too far. He's probably going to have a really easy pitch up for birdie, but it's most likely going to be a one-stroke lead to Paul Ulibarri going into 17, but a couple tough holes in front of us. Looks like they're looking for Paul's disc in Wrigley Field, as you dubbed it. That is a heck of a roller, though, folks. He's almost to circle 2.
I know, Madison Walker, you're out there paying attention. I realize that's not really Ivy, so you don't button out and scold me against that. That right-hand side can be trouble if you penetrate whatsoever. However, McBeth is going to be able to reach out.
His knee. I suspect this putt is going to end up deep, if not hitting some metal.
All the he was Paul that he able to a little extra excitement and fasting. Josh Anthon has an even further drive, and one would say, well, Josh should just lay this on
metal. He's got his pedal to the metal all the way.
Oh, and the gallery was calling for it. Unfortunately, does not convert. And a weird spit off the ground for Wysocki. Okay, it wasn't. I was just thinking that wherever he seems to throw it, the luck has not gone his way today. Wysocki's nose down, carries just past the basket. And Josh Anthon actually lets out a little smile. He knows that that was a very rare miss. That was inside 20 feet.
That kind of looked like my putting this week. I was missing them all left like that.
Anthon, just 2 holes to play with the rest of the card. We're moving into 17 at the Ledgestone Insurance Open.
For driving with power or into a headwind, Vibram designed a distance driver with amazing glide and a strong, predictable fade. It is the ideal disc for big arms, forehand drives, and smooth right-to-left finishes. Introducing the Olace from Vibram. Durability, grip, performance.
At Disc Golf Center, we strive to provide the best customer service and value. With our live inventory of over 20,000 discs, we have the widest selection and the best prices. Check out discgolfcenter.com to see what we have to offer, including free shipping within the United States on all orders over $12 and a customer rewards program.
And Ulibarri going with a fairway driver of sorts, maybe an H series that's playing to the fat side, safe. We do have a different wind than we have had the previous 3 days. It's in our face just a little bit. That needs to get a little bit of legs. It does. Anthon going mid, having to throw it a little bit harder. Looks like it's just hard enough. And nice shot by Ricky. We got 3 safe drives. Let's throw it to the women. Hole 17 from the round earlier today. You know you are you're doing pretty well when your caddy, who you pick up mid-round, then finds a caddy for his bag. That's exactly what Derek Billings has done. So Derek is now carrying Josh's bag, and someone else is carrying Derek's bag. You can do that when you have a 9-stroke lead. And Josh is falling apart here. I don't know what he's going to do on this final hole or two. He is, this is going to dwindle to an 8-stroke lead if Yuli converts.
And Yuli lets that one out low. That gives him the opportunity to get tied by Paul Macbeth. First, Wysocki will putt. And Wysocki stares it in. Paul Macbeth to tie his friend Paul Ulibarri here. And Josh Anthon hopefully does not 6 or 7 putt this and make the closer. All right, he cleans up for the easy 3. Yuli gives him a smirk. We have a brief walk to 18. Stay tuned for the conclusion of the Ledgestone Insurance Open presented by Discraft.
Flashlight LED disc golf discs just changed the game. The unique Disco Select feature allows everyone to choose their own color by simply pressing the middle button, then pressing it again during the first rotation of colors when the one you want appears. Or you can leave it in disco mode, rotating through the 6 different colors for the duration of your game. Designed by serious professionals, crafted from Night Eye's unrivaled sure grip material, and featuring Night Eye's patented fiber optics array, these discs strike the perfect balance of durability, stability, performance, and just plain awesomeness. With easily replaceable batteries and an uber-long life, the Flashlight driver, mid-range, and putter will shine as they blaze your path to victory, day or night. Night Eyes. Discover your solution.
And welcome back, everyone. Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. We are standing on hole 18. Our chase card is teeing off. We'll be able to catch up and get a few shots from them in a few moments. But Dana, lots of people have been watching the battle unfold. Jessica Weiss and Valerie Jenkins, shot for shot, stroke for stroke. You're going to see some more action. Did you get a chance to take a look, get any sneak peek earlier today without ruining it for everyone?
All I heard is that it was exciting to the very end. So I'm looking forward to watching it.
All right, well, stay tuned. We're bringing you more women's coverage thanks to Marty McGee over at Prodigy Disc. We'll be back with you in a few moments from chase card and lead card on the men's side. We'll see you in a moment.
Nice. 3. Nice playing with you, Jessica. Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice playing with you. Let's go. Nice playing with you.
Oh, you got up really quick.
I came over to you.
Try. Nice shot. Nice.
That can't happen. Yeah. Great shot. Yeah,
Great shot, Val.
I was waiting for the fashion call.
Well, I was yelling at the camera and he flashed his face.
He flashed his face. That's fast.
And welcome back, everyone. We are here on the catch area of hole number 18, as we call it. You've been enjoying the playoff action that's taking place between Jessica Weiss and Valerie Jenkins. We will, of course, be showing you the conclusion of that. We will likely bring that to you after the final putt drops here on the men's side, and all the scores are tabulated, and then we'll be able to give you the conclusion of that round as I catch up with the winner. I am joined by Nate Heinold, our tournament director, and Nate, we are 20 throws or less from completing this tournament. I'm going to say that much. How does it feel after putting in such a massive effort?
Yeah, it feels good. I've slept about 10 hours in the last 5 days, and today's my wife and I's anniversary, and I just saw her for the first time, so she's super happy to be out here working at this disc golf tournament selling raffle tickets, which are almost sold for St. Jude. So yeah, it feels really good. I feel like we had our most successful year. The weather cooperated. I have control over that, so I was able to hold it off for today, but I think it's been phenomenal. Almost all the feedback has been very positive from the pros for the changes at Eureka. I feel like we had a very challenging course, but fair course.
Well, we heard a few days ago on our Tuesday night podcast, Paul Ulibarri had talked about being one of his favorite courses, even saying that the changes, like you said, have been very positive and well received. Fair. We've had a few lefties challenge a few of those shots, but overall it's been a great experience out here, and like you said, the weather is held off and we just have a few throws to go.
Yeah, I actually don't like left-handers. No, I'm just kidding. I do like left-handers. Devin Owens has won this tournament before. He's a great guy, and look at this. He told me he was going to do it, and he's going for it.
Paul Macbeth opts for the showman route, landing, and that is a ridiculous shot. Well, Nate, before we let you go, I want to say thank you for the awesome experience. It's been fun being here again with the coverage on SmashBoxxTV and the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and congratulations on your recent nod in becoming a PDGA Board of Directors member.
Yeah, my first order of business will be to nominate you for the best live broadcaster ever, Terry.
All right, I like what your platform you're on there. And Wysocki rolls up to a marker. What does that indicator say? There's a...
That's, I put a couple markers out this year on a lot of holes for 500 for orange, 250 for yellow, so that was a bomb of a roller there. And I just want to say also, just thanks to Discraft, this tournament would not happen without them, and Bob and Mike have been so supportive. They are just phenomenal.
And Josh Anthon already rolling. We weren't even, the previous roller hadn't even stopped. And Josh's hits the wall. We're going to be back with you guys in a few moments. Actually, strike that. We're going to watch the chase card. Just final putts here. We see Nate Doss and a few others clearing off. And we will be back with you in just a few moments. Stay tuned. Confusion there as out of sync here. The chase card was in fact just wrapping up with their final putts. We're also going to see Paul Ulibarri, Paul McBeth, and Josh Anthon all about the same distance from the pin. McBeth being just a little bit closer, and then Wysocki at least 65, if not 75 feet in front of the rest of the card with his amazing roller. First, we're going to have Paul Ulibarri. He's lining up a forehand. And Yuli hits a tree about 100 feet in front of him. Looks like McBeth will be next to throw. McBeth was in fact ready to throw a moment ago, and then Paul Ulibarri stopped him to let him know that he was in fact out. And McBeth goes with a forehand. This could be the difference between the two, or if McBeth gets up there, he may be forcing that tie for second. Josh Anthon is very quickly ready to throw as usual. Josh looks like he's going to go out over the water here. That's his best shot. And that hopefully will continue to fade to the right. Oh, yeah. And a disgustingly perfect shot by Josh Anthon, really with no other options other than to go out over the water. I've joked that he's got more than enough strokes to give, but he still executes perfectly. And Ricky Wysocki sitting at just behind the 250-foot marker, approximately 270 feet to the pin. This could earn him a few extra dollars.
Oh yeah, he's wanting to put this one close and walk away with a tap-in.
Ricky's going to hope for a skip up and to the right, and it looks like it caught something, hit the tree, and it is safe, pin high. Again, 6,500 for first, 4,500 for second, 3,500 for third. Right now, Ricky Wysocki has sole possession of fourth place. If he can just simply get up and down, take a par, he will remain in fourth. McBeth and Ulibarri right now looking at a difference of $1,000. And if Ulibarri wants any chance of keying up with McBeth, he's going to need to make that putt and hope that McBeth does not make the putt for birdie. Rejoining me from earlier in the broadcast and earlier this week, our Disc Golf Pro Tour Director, Steve Dodge. Steve, 6,500, that's locked up. Josh Anthon's ready to cash that check. $4,500 could be written to Paul McBeth if he can make this birdie, he can lock up sole possession of second place for 45.
One thing I love seeing about these guys is you just saw Macbeth and Ulibarri walking down the fairway, talking to each other. They know what's on the line, but they're still competitors and competing with each other instead of against each other. That's what the sport's all about.
And Yuli does not draw a medal. And Macbeth draws medal, but Macbeth will be putting in for the 4, and he will be walking away with second place money, $4,500. Wysocki should tap out. Wysocki and Yuli will tap out, giving the honors to Josh Anthon. And that one sticks in for Wysocki, who's handled adversity very well today, along with a few bad breaks. Paul Ulibarri finishes in third. And your champion, Josh Anthon, wire to wire, taking down the 2 best players in the world.
Ledgestone Insurance Open present my Discraft champion, Josh Anthon. Hi, everybody back home. Thanks for all your support.
All right, well, I'm going to move in. We're going to talk to Josh. Josh, you got scorecards to do, but since he already presented you with a trophy, wire to wire, taking down the best players in the world for one of the biggest paychecks of the year. How does that feel?
It feels awesome. It's an honor to play with these guys and to be back competing again and to have so much support out here. My friends Derek, that I came down here with, Drew, everyone. It's great to be back playing with everybody.
You've got people at home watching, including a wife and a little guy. What does it feel like to win for them?
It feels awesome. Hi, everybody. Got Dad, my brothers, a lot of support back home.
What's next for you? We're just kicking off the second half of the Disc Golf Pro Tour with this event. Where are we going to see you next?
Pittsburgh and then Vibram.
Any goals for this year now that you're back and you're competing with the best in the world?
Just keep trying to play as good as I can, keep my arm feeling better, and just stay focused and keep practicing hard.
All right. Any final thoughts, any words of support or thanks you'd like to give to anyone out there?
Thanks to all my family out there, my friends, all my fans, everyone that supported me through all these years. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it.
All right. There you have it again. Josh Anthon, your champion here at the Ledgestone Insurance Open, presented by Discraft. Nice job, buddy. Thanks so much. All right. You heard it. That's Josh Anthon. We've got more golf for you guys to watch. There's a playoff going on. Valerie Jenkins along with Jessica Weiss, we know they're competing. They're playing it out hard for these for the championship here on the women's side. As we throw it over to the women's final few holes, I'd like to thank my entire staff and crew here at SmashBoxxTV. It's been a tremendous week. Thank you guys so much. Nate Heinold, Ledgestone Insurance Open, and the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Back at the controls, of course, we have Johnny V and Gary to the O, and on cameras we have Chad Inman along with Rick Hushain. Thank you guys so much for the hard work. Dynamite, Steve Dodge, everyone else that stepped in and provided additional commentary. For the Ledgestone Insurance Open presented by Discraft, I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. It's been a great week. We'll see you in 2 weeks when we're live again at the Idlewild Open in Kentucky. We'll see you then when you step inside the Smashbox.
Good job, lady. Picture at the leaderboard.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You want your sign?
Oh, yeah. With the sign in the background. There we go. Oh, yeah.
You get in there. Get your face showing.